All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Whiskey Trek. I'm Jackson.
I'm Matt.
And he is Matt. He's a special guest. This is my brother, Matt. Back for another Scotch episode.
We did one of these, right? Just one other one?
I think so.
Yeah. Cool. So, second time's the charm. No, third time's the charm, but second time better than the first, I guess. Hopefully.
Tough to beat, last time talking about barrel-proof Scotch from a Scotch subscription and things like that.
We have them up there. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, look at that.
Indeed we do. But today what we've got right here is our Nick Offerman Edition Lagavulin 11-year finished in rum casks.
Yes. So Nick Offerman puts out a new edition every year since he partnered with Lagavulin. I believe he's like a minority or possibly even majority owner of the Lagavulin distillery. And that was actually a funny story. For those of you who know who Nick Offerman is, he's Ron Swanson on Parks and Rec. And that was one thing that he brought personally to the character was his love of Lagavulin Scotch.
Gin and tonic, please. Belay that order, Dana. Lagavulin neat. Clear alcohols are for rich women on diets.
So that is a characteristic of Nick Offerman himself and Ron Swanson that they both share. But Nick Offerman is now a part owner of Lagavulin Distillery, has been for a few years. And since that happened, he's been putting out a branded Offerman Edition 11-year-old Lagavulin Scotch. Normally, the Lagavulin offerings only come in 8 and 16, and then occasionally a Distiller's Select or a 12-year, special release, things like that. But the 11-year has been, I think this is the 4th or 5th year that he's put it out. And so far, I have had all of them and have liked all of them quite a lot. It is not... 4th. Yeah, perfect. I was right. I have liked all of them quite a lot. I think some years are better than others, but
undebatable
like,
on that fact.
The second year he did it was a Guinness cask finished Lagavulin,
yep.
And that was, even though it's only 80 proof, was still like one of the best flavor profiles of a Scotch that I've ever had. It was so good. It was like
46 actually. So this is 46%. So we're talking
92. Yeah, not bad. So a little bit higher than your normal 80 proof Scotch.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, all of that being said, that's what we're reviewing today, and that's why they brought me back, because I buy all of the Offerman editions. I collect them, and it's been a fun hobby of mine.
Thanks, Matt, for that summary of the Offerman Edition.
Yeah.
This is by far the coolest box that they've done for the Offerman editions.
Yeah. Normally they're just like black with like maybe a little bit of artwork or something.
Yeah,
but this one's cool.
Exactly. Not only is the box completely different from before, but rum finish on a peated Islay Scotch.
It's an interesting combination of things.
Especially if you think Islay Scotch, you think briny and ashy, smoky. You don't typically associate these things with rum. Now, maybe a Speyside, which is fruity and sweet and bright,
Speysides definitely have some defining flavor characteristics that are similar to rum, for sure.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see how that rum finish is impacting this classic Lagavulin palate.
And the color is interesting too, because it's very much classic Lagavulin. It's a pale yellow. It's very it's very straw colored. It's slightly darker, and you're just getting that because it's finished. Finished whiskeys tend, especially depending on what they're finished in, have a darker coloration. So I'd be really interested. Do we have a bottle of 16 up there?
No, I don't.
Oh, I thought we did. Oh well.
We have 12. But it'll be way lighter.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, color's good. The nose is surprisingly mild for a Lagavulin. I've had this already quite a few times, but I've never really done like an in-depth thought experiment about it. That's normally what I reserve for here. So
well, then let me dive into it. So on the nose, right up front, it almost smells like bourbon immediately. Like you get that caramel note right up front, which tells your brain, oh, that smells like bourbon. But then the back end, you get the spice, which kind of smells like that classic Islay Scotch, like chili pepper smell almost.
Yeah, capsaicin a little bit. It's got a little bit of a heat to it in the nostril that stings slightly, but not in a bad way, and something that it's like opening it up a little bit more.
Well, it's something that I really only found once I started having Optimors.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. because Lagavulins typically don't stray anywhere near where Bruichladi's flavor profile goes.
Yeah, they're totally different styles of peated scotches.
This almost completely abandons Lagavulin's normal brininess,
Mm-hmm.
at least on the nose.
Generally speaking, Lagavulin is very upfront about what you're getting. It is campfire in a bottle, and you get that from the nose, from the taste, and from the finish all the way through. This does not... Like, if you put this in front of me and I didn't know what it was, I don't know, and I had never had it before, of course, I don't know that I'd be able to tell you that this was Lagavulin Scotch. I'd probably pick something else.
Yeah. No, I think I agree with that. The ashiness is a lot more subdued, although you can tell that it's ashy peat and not like briny peat.
Yeah. Or meaty peat. Yeah.
Yeah, and there is a little bit of that.
I would almost call this a Lefroy smelling more than anything else.
Yeah, it's got that kind of rubbery characteristic.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and have a taste.
Cheers. Or
Solange.
Yep.
The ashiness shows up hard on the palate.
Yeah. It definitely tastes like a Lagavulin. For sure.
Absolutely, it does.
Yeah.
The chili pepper like shows up for a split second and then it's gone. Mm-hmm. The rum on the finish.
Yeah, it's definitely finished on the
back of the tongue.
Yeah, a little oily.
And caramel, and that like dark caramel. But the front and mid palate are all classic Lagavulin.
Yes.
Ashy peat smacks you in the face. You get a little bit of that capsaicin, which is really weird and not typical Lagavulin. Mm-hmm. But man, and it's got a great mouthfeel right up front. You can feel how thick it is.
Definitely floods with saliva. It definitely stimulates all the right places in the mouth to get the maximum amount of flavor per cubic inch or whatever. Yeah.
Per cubic inch. What a way to describe it.
Yeah.
On the exhale, you get that red chili pepper, which is such a I associate that so heavily with my Octomore that I've got.
Yeah.
Because more on the palate. This is more, what's this? Olfactory. The smell. Mm-hmm. I get more of that chili pepper on the smell, like exhale. I get it up here in like the nasal cavities. On the Octomore, I get it on the mid palate, right on the tongue.
It's weird. It's almost bipolar. Like the very front of the flavor and when it hits your tongue right in the mouth, it's like, oh, this is Lagavulin. Then you get it in the mid palate and it's like, yeah, has a little something extra. And then on the finish, it's like, is this Lagavulin? This is very different. So
you can feel the transition.
Yeah.
You can feel it like after you swallow the backside of your tongue. You feel like right in the middle of your tongue, there's like this sizzle, and then the backside like turns into this like caramel taste.
Yeah, it's warm.
And yes, and the finish just continues, and you get this lasting like malt characteristic mixing with the caramel from that rum finish. Mm-hmm. And all the while you're exhaling, you get that chili.
It keeps coming back. Yeah, it stays around a lot longer than most Lagavulins I've had.
Here's what I'm gonna say. My favorite will always be the Guinness. I think that had the best mouthfeel. It was
chocolate and coffee and smoky Scotch all at the same time somehow, and it was perfect.
It was incredible. But this is
really good.
And this is so interesting that I think if you're more interested in the nerdy side of whiskey, this is probably your favorite. This is one to buy. Unlike the charred oak from last year, which we kind of thought was a little
yeah, it was fine.
But this takes kind of the concept they wanted to do for that to the next level, right? Because they were trying to incorporate more of those bourbon flavors. And this does that, but it brings in so much other things. It's really interesting. For 92 proof, this is really interesting Scotch.
Yeah. I really, really do like it. I will say, I've had this bottle for about a month and a half. And I opened it the first day that I got it, so it's been airing for a little while. So it's sat and it's gotten some characteristics, and it's aired out a little bit, and it has improved over time, for sure. When I first had this, I was not super sold on it. Like on the fresh bottle crack first pour, I was like, is this better than the first year's edition? I don't really know. Like when I first had my first couple of tries, this was ranking at number 3 for me. But now that it's aired out a little bit and gotten a little more mature, it definitely has taken on a lot of new flavors and a lot of new complexity that is really, really helping it out.
Crazy cool. Thanks, Matt, for coming on. This was awesome. What a
pleasure.
A shock, man.
Yeah.
Like, this was crazy. I honestly wasn't expecting to like this much.
Yeah. No, I'm always happy to be here, especially when you guys want to talk about Scotch. That's kind of what I'm around for. So
absolutely.
Good to see you guys over at Whiskey Trek. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.
Thanks, Matt, and we'll see you next time on Whiskey Trek. Cheers.
Cheers.